Heyo, so I'm going to do a tattoo tag. I figured I've gotten a lot of tattoos since I turned 18, but really since I started this and kind of came back into this. So I'm gonna do a tattoo tag just to kind of show off my tattoos and what I've been up to, I guess. Plus, I don't know, I think I love my tattoos. I love tattoos in general, so thought I'd share it. My hair is being really weird, but we're gonna ignore that. And I'll get started on it. I heard a noise. Okay, how many tattoos do you have? I have, okay, so professional tattoos, I have 5. And then stick and pokes, I have I think I have 6 stick and pokes, so I guess in total I have, that would be 11. Should probably keep this up. That'd probably be helpful. What is your favorite tattoo? I think my favorite tattoo, oh gosh, it's so difficult to decide, but I think it's probably, it's really difficult. It's probably a tie between all 3 of these ones. I love these dudes so much. Probably my little cat tattoo though. It's my cat Jasper, so it's got to be my favorite because Jasper is the love of my life. And it makes me really happy seeing his little happy face here every day. So probably that one. How old were you when you got your first tattoo? So I was 18 when I got my first professional tattoo, because where I live you have to be 18 for that. But just tattoo in general, my stick and pokes, I was 15. What do your parents think about your tattoos? They don't really like tattoos. They don't mind them that much. They hate my septum piercing. Can't stand it. My tattoos, they prefer me not to have them because they're afraid it's gonna affect my future and career and whatnot, and that I'm gonna end up hating it and wishing I hadn't done it. But they also know that it's my choice, and if it makes me happy, then they're okay with it. The only one they really don't like is this one, which from a parent's point of view, I can see why they wouldn't like this. You can't really see it because where it's out on my wrist, but it says a little sad happy face thing, and it says mood, because just this is the mood, this was just a spur of the moment kind of little dude I got, and they think I'm gonna regret it because they're what 40-year-old mother potentially is gonna want this on their wrist where everyone can see it. And I was well, apparently I will, and if not, I can suck it up and deal with it. Did you always have a love for tattoos? I've pretty much always wanted a tattoo, at least one tattoo. I've always thought that they were super cool. I've always been a huge fan of temporary tattoos. So yes, I've always loved tattoos. I just love having art all over you, just decorating yourself with art. Even before I knew I really liked tattoos, I would always color on myself. Probably because, I liked the idea of having art all over me. What was your inspiration? I don't know if this question they mean for each particular tattoo, or if they just mean in general what inspired me to get a tattoo. So I guess I'll just do both, but in general, I don't know, I just really like the idea of having art decorated all over me. They're kind of little stickers or patches and pins, but permanent and on your arms and wherever else on your skin. I've always thought that it was just a really cool idea. But for each tattoo, so this one is my cat Jasper. He's literally my best friend. Love that cat so much. You can't tell because this quality, but his eyes glow. I love it. This one is my most recent. It's a scorpion, and it has these stars all in it. And the inspiration behind this one was that I'm a Scorpio. and I couldn't decide if I wanted to do a scorpion or the constellation. So the one tattoo artist who I've gone to twice now, he did my first professional tattoo. He's also Scorpio, and he came up with the idea to incorporate like the stars and the scorpion, because he's a very smart man. Wish the colors would show up better, but that's that dude. I love him. I named him Joey. And then this one was my first one. This lighting is going to kill me. But, okay. The colors are showing up like really badly on here. But it's this little moon dude. He's real moody looking, you know. The inspiration behind this one was I've always really loved moons and stars and celestial things. And it also reminds me of my grandma. But another huge part of this one was that I'm Wiccan, and so I've always just felt like really, really connected to the moon, and I wanted the moon to always be here with me. So I have him right there. He doesn't have a name. Probably should name him though. Or her, I guess. The moon's technically, you know, Mother Moon, but I always refer to him as him. But who cares about any of that anyways? I've got the comfort of the moon here. That's all that matters. Inspiration behind this one was, like I said, this is kind of spur of the moment, random. I was like, yeah, I want this because that's the mood, you know. And originally it was just this, and then I actually went in and I added in the mood under it myself. This one, I think no, this was not my first. This was one of my first, like, stick and pokes. It's just yin and yang. Not really much inspiration behind that. I just thought it's pretty cool. So I got that on my knuckle. Because, you know, 15-year-olds. This one was, so originally I had a smiley face on this finger. But it was done pretty badly. It was upside down. It was a mess. And then I got this guy. And I was like, well, I don't need two smiley faces, you know? Plus, it was just kind of bad. I was going to get it covered up eventually. I just didn't know by what. And then I was tired of looking at it, so I went and I'm going to go back over it because it's pretty bad right now still. But I just filled it in as a plain black circle because, you know, there's not much else that I could have really done. And then I added crescent moons on either side. So this is the Wiccan symbol for the goddess, aka the moon, because I love moons. And then this one, it's a party hat on my ankle. And there was literally no inspiration behind that. I went to the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention as a graduation present with some of my friends, and that's where I got this guy done at. And then the second day that I was there, everyone else was getting like second tattoos and whatnot, and I was bored, and I wanted another one because I'm addicted to tattoos at this point. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna search, I'm gonna find some random little thing that I like, and I'm gonna get it if it's cheap. And so I actually met this one lady at this booth. Her name's Grace LaMorte. She's super cool. And she was like, oh, come check out my flash. So we were looking at it, and she had this little party hat, and I was like, I just really like that little party hat. It's just so festive. Like, I'm gonna get that. So I have a party hat on my ankle. And then it's really bad, but this little dot right here, that was my very first tattoo, stick and poke, any of that kind of stuff. It's a really badly done, tiny little heart. Just because I was like 15, maybe even 14, and I was like, I'm going to give myself a tattoo. I'm going to do a small heart on my ankle. I'm not even going to bother showing this one because it really doesn't even show up, and it's in a weird spot, but right in, like, you know, I'm going to down in this area of like your foot, like right by your heel, kind of. I have a little cactus, but it's super faded. It's another stick and poke. It doesn't really show up. It just kind of looks like pen that's coming off. So I'll probably end up getting another cactus there, but I don't know yet. Might just leave it. I don't know. And then I think my only other one is, I can't show it because of how I'm sitting, but I have another stick and poke of a butterfly on my hip, and it's really bad. It looks like a 5-year-old did it, and the inspiration behind that one was, I'm embarrassed to say it, but there was this guy who I had a crush on my freshman year of high school, and I was like, hey, I'm going to tattoo myself. What should I get and where? He said I should get a butterfly on my hip. So I gave myself a tattoo of a butterfly on my hip. Big mistake. It's embarrassing, honestly. So definitely getting that covered up at some point. Do you plan on getting more tattoos in the future? I have so many more tattoos that I want to get. At this point, since I'm not even 19 yet, and I have all these. Oh, I forgot. I also have a really nicely done stick and poke of a hand on my thigh. It's an outline of a hand. It's kind of going like, I don't know, it's doing something. It's kind of like this. And it says touch me under it, which probably not the best idea to get that on my thigh, but it's pretty high up and I thought it was kind of funny. And the inspiration behind that was I don't shave my legs, and so my mom had this sticker from like a gift bag that was textured and it says touch me, I'm fuzzy, and she put it on my legs as a joke since I don't shave. And we were joking around saying I should get it tattooed, and so I gave myself a stick and poke of that, and I added in a little hand to it. I just decided not to add the I'm fuzzy part, so now it's just says touch me. Yep. But yeah, I do plan on getting more tattoos. I'm just going to chill out with it for, I think, at least until November. I'm going to try to go without getting any more because they're expensive and I have the whole rest of my life to get them. So we'll see how that goes though. Which tattoo is the most painful? The most painful was definitely the party hat on my ankle because it's on my ankle, you know, that's like really bony. Especially it's kind of low down on my ankle too, so part of it goes on that little like bone on your ankle. I don't know what it's called, but that thing, and it was very painful. Do you regret any of your tattoos? The only one I really regret is the butterfly, I think, because of the whole reason as to why I got it and because of how badly done it is. Like, it really looks like a 5-year-old did it. It's pretty bad. What was your least painful tattoo? My least painful tattoo was probably Jasper, just because like it's a very fleshy part, and pretty much like this spot, this kind of section of your arm, since it's so fleshy and it's like tough on the outside, does not really hurt. Back in here, that area tends to hurt a little bit more for some reason. I've heard that this is supposed to hurt, but I didn't think it was all too bad until, like I said, it got to this back part right back here. I think also this one surprisingly did not hurt like at all. The only time this one really hurt was the guy who did it went over it a bunch of times, and so in all these little spots that kind of like connect with the different lines, because of how much times it went over it, it started to kind of like get pretty deep and kind of hurt in those spots, but other than that, it wasn't bad. What did you use when it was healing? So I personally, I was told to use Tegaderm, and I had no idea what that was, but it's the best thing to ever exist. Tegaderm, Sanoderm, amazing. So I use that. It pretty much heals your tattoo in like a week at most. And then after that, I just use like Aquaphor or Bacitracin, I don't know how to say it, as like a little moisturizer. I don't really recommend the Bacitracin. It works decently enough, but I feel like it doesn't keep it as moisturized as it needs to be. But I've tried some of my friends, I don't remember what it's called, but it's one of the lotions from Lush. If I can, after this, I'll Google it and I'll put the name of it in the description to this, because that works amazing. I need to buy some, because when I used it the one time, it was insane, like the difference it made. And what's the best aftercare is the last question. So definitely, I guess this wouldn't technically be aftercare, but like I said, I highly recommend Sanoderm, Tegaderm for wrapping it. Definitely use those. And aftercare wise, I haven't really gotten to like test it out too much, like different ones. I've just been using the thing of bacitracin I already have, since I have like a whole thing of it. But pretty much any kind of like non-scented moisturizer. Heard like cocoa butter is really well. I don't know how coconut oil would be, but I feel like that might work pretty well. Definitely though, I've got to say the Lush lotion that I can't remember the name of, probably the best. So I will definitely add that into the description. I just wish I remembered the name right now. But yeah, and that's it. That's all the questions. I guess I don't really know. I guess that's it. I'll include the names of all the artists who did these in the description as well, in case anyone wants to like check them out. Because I get a lot of compliments on them, especially my most recent one. I'm obsessed with this thing. The colors in it are amazing. This is actually the same guy who did my first one. He incorporated the same kind of stars into it, which I love. So highly recommend that. Some of these places are like all over the place because some of them were done at conventions and whatnot. But like I said, I'll add in info.